right? So when we talk about nailing a niche, we're not talking about having small dreams or thinking small or small markets. It's about being focused. It's not trying to do everything for everyone. It's having the discipline to focus in where you can be most successful, right? Because it's easier. You want to be like to win anywhere. You need to be a big fish in a small pond, right? And it's easier to make the pond smaller than the fish bigger. In other words, it's easier to be more focused on who you can help, the right situation where you're needed. That is to try to like change your product or value proposition so you can try to serve everybody. So all successful companies start with some kind of beachhead or initial niche, right? Amazon had these companies all had big dreams. Amazon started though just in books. Facebook just with Ivy League schools, Zappos and shoes, and Salesforce with Salesforce automation. Right? They focused in one area. These are still big areas, but they focused in some area where they could win before they tried to expand and to do more and more and more types of markets. So probably the simplest place to begin with is saying if you have a bunch of customers, right, and you're struggling there's two places this struggle shows up. If you're struggling to generate leads, or if you're generating leads and you're struggling to close them, this could still be a problem. Starting to say, hey, where are we, in what situations are we a nice to have versus what situations are we a need to have? How are those different? That's a really simple place to start, because most companies spend way too much energy, time, and money trying to market and sell to people where you're a nice to have. They're like, oh, they could use us. And you just chase your tail round and round and round. Nothing happens. One clue when you're nice to have is you see people who say, hey, you do a demo, and like, that was so cool. And you don't hear from them again, right? That's how an example of how you know you're a nice to have. There's in the States a book called He's Just Not That Into You. Right? How do you know when they're not that into you? Another example when you are a nice to have is, think about it this way. Consumers make impulsive decisions. Like, do I spend money on a Porsche versus broccoli? I want that Porsche. And they can do that. But in businesses, because there's multiple people involved, it usually removes a lot of the emotion and impulse. So if you're not a need to have, it takes a lot of energy to find and evaluate and buy and implement something. So if they don't need you, at some point there's like, oh, I got other priorities, and you get kicked off the priority list. So